everyone, welcome back. It is time for another wrestling review. This may be a week late, but it's here for you anyway. We have AEW's Full Gear review. With me once again, we have Campo.Reviews, the man who reviews movies, TV shows, everything else in between. Go check out his channel for reviews if you need reviews. But before we get into our review, let us take care of some business. 7 subs away from 350, 2 weeks left in the year, 3 weeks, something like that. Let's get there, guys. 7 more subs. I think we can do it. So just make sure you go down there, click that little subscribe button, click that thumbs up button. Let's get this video out there to as many people as we can. So let's get right into it. AEW Full Gear.
Did you watch it?
Of course I did. That's why we're here. So
Oh, I
let's
don't
start.
know.
Let's start with the pre-show. Anna Jay versus Deonna Purrazzo
Dog
with Taya.
shit. Next.
What is this new group that they're forming with Taya and Deonna? This
Listen,
was a
I'm
bad
all
match.
for that. I'm all for that. But Deonna Purrazzo, number one, well, shouldn't be in a feud with Anna Jay. And then guess what? Immediately after this match, there's no more feud. So you just put both of them on here because you're like,
Yeah,
well, got to do something with
and
Deonna Purrazzo.
because she's from New Jersey.
Yeah, got to put her on. And Anna Jay's hot. So, well, that's what we'll do.
Yeah, and Anna Jay wins. So this match was pointless.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on. Buddy Matthews versus Dante Martin versus Commander versus the Beast Mortos on a random 4-way match.
Not a bad match, but why?
Just to get these guys on the show. I think
It's
they
the
honestly. It's the pre-show. Buddy Matthews wins. Okay.
Why wouldn't you have this be like your 30-minute long match to set up
Yeah.
instead of the next match?
Which was. Well, Buddy Matthews wins this match. So with that, we have some guy. I don't know who these people are. Maybe I'm too old for this shit, but Big Boom
TikTok
Agent
guy
and
and Fat
Big
Son.
Justice and,
Yeah.
the Sizzler Steakhouse there.
TikTok dad, Fat Son, Fat Friend,
Yeah.
um,
Against
doing
against
wrestling.
yeah. But
Eh,
apparently he used to be a wrestler.
yeah, he was. It's actually not that bad of a match, surprisingly, but I just don't. I don't know what the appeal is.
It's pandering to the Gen Alphas, I
It
guess.
has to be, right. It has to be trying to get like kids on board because otherwise, like, there's no adult that was like,
What the fuck
I
is the
can't
Riz
wait for
face?
this.
Like, I don't know.
I
Like,
don't know.
what's
I
this
mean,
kid?
I
And this
know
kid's
who.
like super. I know who. I obviously know who they are. I've seen them before, but like this kid is like super popular.
No, you
Like,
just froze, or I froze, or
I
somebody
think you
froze.
did. One of us did. Whatever. But this kid is like
And we'll
super
figure it
popular,
out.
and
Who
like
cares?
just watching the Big Show like pander to this kid was bad. But the Costco guy wins.
Yeah, Costco guy wins.
Costco guy wins. So
Like
let's go.
we're not here to judge
No,
shows on pre-shows. Pre-shows can either make the show better or they don't count. And this
right.
one
Doesn't
doesn't
count.
count.
No, not at all. So let's go right into the show proper. Private Party defending the AEW Tag Team Championship against the Outrunners, Kings of the Black Throne, and the Acclaimed.
Okay, so I gotta stroke my own ego here, among other things that I'm
Hmm.
stroking. I called this at the very start of the tournament that these would be the 4 teams, and people were like,
Hmm.
why? And I'm like, because it doesn't make sense
For
to have
anybody else.
FTR in a 4-way
Hmm.
when you could have 3 other teams who haven't been here that can all take a pin. So it's either you're using Private Party as a transitional champion to finally give Malachi Black his tag title, or
Hmm.
you're using it to put the Outrunners over. Or all 3 teams are there to lose to Private Party,
Which
right?
that was the case.
What, but and it's like, and then everyone like I was surprised that everyone was like so quick to be like, oh yeah, shit, you're right, and I was like, yeah, it's like
They're not
AEW,
going to put FTR. FTR is in a solo feud with these
yeah,
guys
that's what I
eventually.
mean, and AEW has now constructed like a logic in their storytelling that like how WWE is really predictable.
Hmm.
AEW now has that same type of formula. It's different than WWE, but you can see the formula of what they're trying to do with things,
Yeah.
right? Because it's kind of too soon to take it from Private Party, but also you already can see at this point after this pay-per-view specifically, nobody cares about Private Party
No.
anymore. The win was like a happy moment, but like everyone's
Yeah.
like, okay, it's over. It's gonna be with the Outrunners too. When the Outrunners win, it's like 2 minutes later, people are gonna be
Yeah.
like, all right, let's go. I don't want to
The
see these.
Outrunners, as much as I love the gimmick, that's all they are. It's a gimmick.
the Outrunners need to serve as minions in a faction. Like that's what they're good for, right? Like
Kind
the
of like
two
the way
goofy
the
guys.
gun, the Austin and Colton gun were with
Yeah, but they're way
they're
better
better.
tag team.
Yeah, they are. Of course they are. But I'm just saying, like
I'm trying
that
to think
type
off
of
the top of my head. Yeah, you're right though. They're more like the New Age Outlaws in DX.
with there was no daddy ass in this match.
Yeah. The Acclaimed are done and
Yeah.
rightfully so. Um I don't think they're either one of them's bad. I'll be honest with you, I'm much more of a fan of Anthony
Bowens.
Bowens than Max Caster. I think Max
Bowens is the better competitor. I think
I,
Bowens is the better wrestler.
I think he's also a far better like
On the
wrestling
mic.
actor. I don't know if he's a better
Okay.
promo cutter, but like his wrestling acting is really good. He's
Yeah,
good
his
at selling.
selling. Yeah.
He's good at like making faces, like when he's cutting promos and stuff. He's very expressional. Is that a word? I don't know.
Yeah, he
Expressive.
has.
He's very
Yeah, he's
expressive.
expressive. Yeah,
Um, Max Caster is a
a
gimmick.
mouthpiece. Yeah,
His whole thing, his
yeah,
entire wrestling persona is just a gimmick, right? He's nothing more than a gimmick.
yeah,
Sure, sometimes the raps are fun, but like they're trying to turn him heel. Fine, get it. If you get it to a point
yeah.
where you can give me a good match with them two against each other,
I'll take it.
and where Daddy Ass is fighting for custody, like the winner gets custody of Daddy Ass.
Fine. I'm going back to my real kids.
Yeah. I mean, I'm okay. I would be okay
Yeah,
with that storyline. But like, who cares about the Acclaim? This match was okay. It
yeah. It was
was
fine. It
very
wasn't.
lackluster.
Yeah, I think that's the theme of this pay-per-view.
Yeah, I think that's pretty fair.
Yeah. So with that, Private Party do retain, and we'll go into our next match: MJF versus Roderick Strong. Oh my God, what is with MJF's tan in this?
So we noticed this at the last pay-per-view. I watched it with my buddy, like a guy he's never even watched wrestling. I mean, I guess he maybe had when he was a kid.
Okay.
But like he started to notice this. He's like, "Why is everybody on your TV yellow?" He's like, "Everybody's yellow," and it's like, I guess because my like color grading is slightly off. But then we
Right.
realize it's because everyone has a spray tan. The
Yep.
people who have real tans, you don't see the yellow. But
No.
whenever they have a spray tan, you could tell that they're like,
And
it's
that's
like
definitely MJF. He
when they
looks like
start
a
sweating, you could see like these
the
weird like
lines.
globs of like
Yeah.
color. Um, yeah,
I don't know
and
about you, but I'm tired of MJF. He's a great
I'm not
promo,
tired of
but
him. I think the function and the way he's been using the way he's being used now is
Mhm.
much better than him being at the top of the card, at least for now. I think there's
Yeah,
way more people that I'd rather be watching than MJF.
yeah.
This was surprisingly a very good match, though. I
But
thought
what was it
Roddy
because
was
of
great.
MJF or it was definitely Roderick Strong that
Yeah,
was the
MJF is gonna give you the cut and dry. You're gonna get the same
yeah,
thing. You put him with somebody good though, and you'll get a good match, right?
yeah.
Like I'm a fan of his promos he's cutting right now.
Yeah, the promos are good.
You're just too late. The storyline is too late, and I
Yeah.
don't really care.
It's gotten a little long in the tooth because this should have been done a long time ago because after the match, MJF does win. And we get, I was going to say Michael Cole, but we get Adam Cole. Can you imagine Michael Cole?
I'll take it.
But we get Adam Cole, and Adam Cole chases MJF out of the arena.
I have this weird like there's a group of people, and we won't like start naming it now. I think there's maybe a tier list one day that we could do for it, but there's wrestlers that they're not overrated and they're not underrated, but there's like a grouping of people in the world that hold these people to too high of a regard, and Adam Cole is
Is one
big
of them.
time in that fucking category for me. Like the
Yeah.
way he's actually rated in the general scheme of wrestling, I think is fine.
Yeah.
He's like a high mid card guy.
I admit, yeah.
But like there's no one's really talking shit about him. No one's saying he's the best, but there's a weird group of people that hold him as like the best wrestler. And like, dude,
Right.
he's so okay. And his
A great name
physical.
I can name out there too, as much as I love him, is Johnny Gargano.
Oh, thank you. I was gonna say that. And Tommaso Ciampa, to be honest
Yeah.
with you. But he never got enough love, I think. But there's a weird group of
Yeah.
people that do hold DIY to like this super high
Super high.
regard, which
Yeah.
their championship that they have right now, good for them. But it's really weird that they gave the Guns the titles for 40 days.
Yeah.
Why even give Motor City the
I think
titles?
that's the Wikipedia win.
It is, right? Because you know what their people are saying that they're immediately going to get sent over to Raw and they're going to win those belts. So now they got both belts and like so
Hmm.
fast,
Yeah.
right? And it makes them
Because
happy.
this is
Then
being recorded
WWE,
later. DIY does win on SmackDown. They beat
yeah. Well,
Motor
we
City
are
Machine.
late to this
Yeah.
review. My fault, most likely. Um,
Hey, you're
but
the one that has to work.
But working's for idiots.
Yeah,
Wrestling's for real men
that's it. That's it.
and ladies.
And
But
ladies.
listen, so
Yeah.
it's he's up there for me. And like, okay, so tell the rest of
Yeah.
the story. Like, I don't care about Adam Cole at all.
Yeah. I don't either.
It's
But
weird.
that's
He doesn't sell it for me. A little like small wrestlers is one thing. Like a Ishii or I mean, sorry, what's his name? Uh
Takahashi.
no, the little guy from the Bone Soldier.
Oh, Taiji
Ishimori,
Ishimori.
Ishimori, like Takahashi, yeah, same thing. I get that. Okay.
Even
Leo
Jay White.
Rush. Yeah, but like you look at a guy like Adam Cole, he's like a little scrawny like guy they found on like a street corner begging for change. That's what he looks like.
Spurs some change.
Like that, but he doesn't look like he works out at all. And I'm not saying that because I'm like some kind of physical specimen, but when I'm watching wrestling, you have to give me some kind of believability.
Like MJF looks like he hits the gym like at
Yeah,
least he
he
has
looks
that
like
look.
a wrestler, and they don't
Yeah.
have to be jacked, right? You could be like just like a well worked out guy, but he's literally just like a toothpick, a spray tan toothpick.
Yeah. And shout out to Britt Baker. Now they're split up.
Did they?
Yep. You got a chance now.
I don't want that. I'd rather have Adam Cole.
I'd rather have Adam Cole. But
He has better
yeah.
legs.
Well, no, Pete Dunne has the best
Pete
legs.
Dunne has the best legs.
We'll go into our next match. Mercedes Moné defending the AEW TBS
Wait,
Championship
you didn't tell
against
them
Chris.
what happened with Adam Cole. I cut you off.
Oh, what happened? You tell them.
No, you tell them.
I can't even remember.
Adam Cole came out and he was like, "Hey, I don't like you." And
Yeah.
then he's like, "I don't like you either." And then after Kyle
Right,
Fletcher,
Kyle
no,
Fletcher. That's right.
Kyle O'Reilly comes out and gets mad because they hurt. It's their fault that
Yeah, that
he got hurt. Roddy got hurt. I
Roddy
think
got okay.
They wanted to write Roddy off TV for a bit. I think that's what it
Yeah.
was.
Well, I mean, his wife is getting a bigger spotlight right now.
Roddy's been really good though.
Yeah.
Like
Roddy's never
he's a high point of this pay-per-view, this match.
Roddy is the type of guy, like even back when it was in Ring of Honor, you want a good match that'll put butts it's you put Roddy in there.
Yeah, and there's a few guys like that in
There
AEW that
was a
you could bank
match
on,
from
Jay White and whatnot.
2015, Roderick Strong versus Shinsuke Nakamura in Ring of Honor.
I'd watch that.
That was phenomenal. I was at that show.
Speaking of that, we'll talk about that on a date to be
On
named later.
a show, yes.
I got a
Um,
lot to talk about.
so we'll go to Mercedes Moné versus Chris Statlander. All of a sudden, Chris is now a face, Statlander.
So I don't like the booking. This was one of the big conversation topics during this
Hmm.
match.
Her feud
Um,
with Willow's over, so she's a face now.
it's an awkward situation because if you look at the track record, if you even want to go back before she left, before
Hmm.
the injury, she was a face, then a heel, then a face, then a heel, then a face, and then a heel, and now a face again. And it's all been in like a 2 year
2 year
span.
span.
It's like she's getting flopped around based on what scenario they need her in.
Like less than
And
12 months ago, she was with the best friends.
it's like, yeah, and then she went heel, then she went
Yeah.
face again with Willow, and then went heel again
Again
on
with
Willow.
yeah, on Willow. And this is within 12 months.
And it's like it doesn't make any sense to me the way you're doing the character. Also, I prior to this specific scenario, I would have said she regressed as a wrestler. I thought she was getting slightly better, but it's slowly like tapered off. I'm going to
Nah.
tell you something, okay? And me and the person I watched this with, by the end of the match, both agreed. We were like, that was a really good match. It's the first half
On
of
both
this
of
match
them,
is
yes.
really, really hard to get through. You're like, it's
Hmm.
botchy, it's weird, but then the story really starts to build and the match, I was like, I didn't know I needed like a 20-minute long Mercedes Moné versus
Yeah, versus Chris
Chris
Statlander.
Statlander match, but like in the second half of the match when the story actually
It
starts
picked up.
happening, you're
Yeah.
like, holy crap, this is like there were some
Yeah.
good spots. It's just the finisher, Mercedes Moné's finisher is just not it.
Yeah. And now is Mercedes a face against Camille, or is Camille the face now?
I think Camille is the face because on last week on TV, Sasha or Mercedes Moné was still
I don't
a
want to hear
heel.
that name again. Okay, yeah. She goes, I don't want to hear that name again, right?
So I don't know. That division is really weird for me. The women's mid card division is really
Yeah,
weird for me.
I know. It's not it I don't know. Like there's nothing that's holding my interest. It's the women's division in general in AEW that's really not.
You know what the problem is? They have and I don't like what was my old saying? More belts.
Yeah.
And then WWE started throwing around all these belts, and now I'm kind of like, hey, calm down. You have too many belts. I
Yeah.
never thought I would say that. Um, I would have preferred WWE have a trios belt than a fourth, sixth women's belt. I don't know. Think we needed six, but AEW is in desperate need of a women's tag
Oh
belt
my God, you're
because you
right.
have,
That is seven. There's seven women's belts if you
yeah,
really think about
the
it.
tags.
Yeah. Which mean absolutely nothing.
So, but in AEW, I would like to have the TNT, the women's belt, the
Hmm.
Ring of Honor belt, the Ring of Honor television women's belt, and then have tag belts. So you can, and tag allows four women something to do in a match, not just
Yeah.
two.
Two.
So
Yeah.
you expand like what people are doing
You
because
spread the wealth a little bit.
you have Tony Shalhoub, you
Tony
have
Shalhoub. Monk?
I can't remember her friggin' name.
Storm?
Storm, not Tony Storm. What's the other one? Thunder Rosa.
Thunder
You have
Rosa,
Thunder
right.
Rosa. You have
Deanna
Deonna
Purrazzo.
Purrazzo. You
Taya
have Jamie
Valkyrie.
Hayter, Taya Valkyrie. Those are four huge names prior to like what's happening now that have nothing to do, literally
Yeah.
nothing to do. And because of the dominance in Ring of Honor, you can't really take the belt off
Of Athena.
Athena. And like, no one wants to wrestle Red Velvet, so nobody cares that she's the champion.
I know. That belt would have been better served staying on Starks.
Anywho,
Yes. But
we've
moving
far
on,
digressed.
Mercedes Moné does retain. So we're gonna go into a grudge match, if you want to call it. Jay White versus Hangman Adam Page.
This was way better than the first time. I
Hmm.
think. I know you and everyone else liked that first match. I thought it was boring.
Yeah, it was good, but this one was better.
This one was better for me.
Much better. I think it told a better story in ring.
It did, but then you're
That
in that
first match,
weird.
Jay was also just fresh back from his injury, right? So he was still moving around a little gingerly, not as
If you were New Japanning or any type of Japanning and you did this match, I wouldn't question it. But because
yeah,
AEW has this weird lean a little bit deeper into kayfabe, like WWE
yeah,
style, having Jay White be a dick at the end of the match felt
off.
like, yeah, like, why did you do that? You're trying so hard to make him a face. Even the promo he cut the other day was like, I was like, why would you let him cut that promo? So
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah, it's weird. But it was a good match. Jay White does win. I even put it in my notes. It's a good match, but it's pointless.
It is because
This doesn't go anywhere.
their
None of these
only bonus
matches.
that they have is that Hangman is bulletproof right now. You literally, it
Yeah,
doesn't matter how many times he loses, nobody cares.
yeah. But a lot of
He
the
he's
matches
like
on,
he's such an important piece of AEW, and they're treating him very much like a put over guy.
and he's one of the originals.
Yeah. He's got something's gotta they have to have something planned. There's no way they don't have something planned.
Maybe he's the one who's going to overthrow Mox
I
eventually.
think so because he does show up on Dynamite
Dynamite, yeah,
and everyone was behind him 1,000%.
yeah,
But I think it's too face turn is too quick. It should have dragged out longer. And
yeah.
he's still
We
associated
need
with
a slow
Christian.
burn. And on top of that, like as opposed to what's tune into the review for that in a few days' time, the TNA Turning Point, the slow burn has been too slow with JBL and Nick Nemeth.
That's true.
But tune in on Tuesday or not Tuesday. I don't even know what day of the week it is. Tune in. That's going to be our third review this week. We're doing AEW, WWE, and TNA. We're doing the trifecta this week. So, but moving on. Kyle Fletcher versus Will Ospreay, grudge match. Another one.
I'm gonna be honest with you because
Kyle Fletcher looks weird with this haircut. I
I
don't
know.
like.
Okay, so that's so funny you said that because we were like, isn't it weird? Like we're like not to be gay or anything, but like he was a very pretty looking man, and now he
Yeah,
looks like an alien
yeah, with that
by
big
just by
forehead of it.
cutting
Yeah,
his hair off.
yeah.
Like, um,
It
yeah, he
just
looks
looks
weird.
weird. Yeah.
It's this is a weird one. I'm going to be honest because I don't remember what matches came after this. This is how long it's been since watching this. I remember the like when we talk about it, I'll know. But this might have been match of the night.
Maybe there were some other
Is there a
matches.
Takeshita match on this?
Yes, there is.
Then
There
Takeshita is
was.
always match of the night.
Yeah, it was Takeshita to Ricochet for me. The
Yeah,
match.
that's always anything with Takeshita.
Takeshita.
Anywho, this match
But
was
yeah,
pretty good. I'm a
right,
little bit bored of Will Ospreay at the
right.
moment. Not to
Where is
call him God.
Okada?
I think so because
Is
he's
he
in the
still
tournament.
is he actually hurt though, or?
No, no. I think they were trying to protect him until this tournament. So they've put
Mm,
off defending that belt for a bit because they knew the tournament was coming and they'd rather save it because I don't know the
Because he'll
standings
probably defend
completely.
it in Japan, right?
I
At
feel
Wrestle
like
Dynasty.
I feel like there's some kind of plan here for the finals to be like Jay White and Okada, and then
Hmm.
now Jay White has to do it in Japan. Remember, he wasn't allowed to do
Yeah,
it, and
not allowed
now
in Japan. But if this match is in Japan, yeah.
no, this match will be at World's End, I think.
Oh, okay.
But then I think maybe someone will challenge him at World's End, and he'll have to like go suck it up and go back or
Good
something.
Japan.
It could be
Okay.
that. Either way, I think the plan is to have Okada make it to the finals at this pay-per-view
Yeah.
and then lose the belt because
Yeah.
they're stripping all the belts from that faction, right? And they're all
Yeah.
going off TV.
That's true. That's true. But yeah, but we're going back. Like this match was good, but I don't know. AEW Will Ospreay doesn't hit the same as New Japan Will
It's because
Ospreay to
it's
me.
too much. It's weekly Will Ospreay, twice a
Yeah.
week sometimes. You don't get in New Japan. You got him once a month,
It
twice
felt
a
more
month.
special, right? Like it felt
Yeah.
special every time you
It
got to
was a
see.
big event, right? Even with Kenny on AEW, yeah, you might have seen him cut a promo here and there, but like he wasn't wrestling like every week.
Yeah.
You waited for those pay-per-views because you're like, oh, I'm gonna get to see a Kenny match.
Yeah.
Will Ospreay's like, I'm gonna wrestle Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, and then I'll be at the
Yeah.
pay-per-view.
Yeah. Even Takeshita, he's not wrestling every week either. They're
No,
keeping him.
but I don't. Takeshita is just like a something special.
Yeah. But Kyle Fletcher does win. Is this feud over? I don't think so. Not yet.
No, it shouldn't be either.
No.
It was a good match though.
Yeah. We're going into the AEW TNT Championship match. Daniel Garcia and Jack Perry.
Better than I thought it was gonna be.
Hmm. Yep.
Daniel Garcia has improved as a wrestler. It was a tad long.
Yeah. But it was fine. And Jack Perry does lose the belt here. Daniel Garcia is your new TNT champion. I think it was deserved time. Put something on Garcia. That's a little here you go for re-signing with the company kind of thing.
Mhm.
Put a little shine on you.
Yeah,
But we got
I,
a
I
new
like
champ.
it.
There was something that happened I missed between the Fletcher match and the Garcia match. There was the Mina Shirakawa and Mariah May champagne celebration.
Oh yeah, like why would you do that on a pay-per-view? Just like first of all,
That's those were my exact thoughts.
I like what ended up happening, but I was like, the idea that you thought that people were gonna care. You're having the champagne celebration for her title win from June. When did she win the belt in July?
July, yeah.
Like it's November.
It's like us putting a review out 2 weeks after the pay-per-view.
2 weeks there was like 4 months. Um, just
Why
think
do I
of these
look
like
red?
a wrestling with regret like throwback
Yeah,
review, okay?
yeah,
Um, but that spot was gnarly. The
yeah,
kicking the bottle out of her hand too was fucking
yeah.
sick.
And off the ramp there on through the
She did a full spin kick and kicked the bottle right out of
yeah,
her hand, and then they fell through the table and that looked like it fucking hurt.
yeah.
Mina Shirakawa was like bleeding.
She was busted open, yeah, for sure. Going into our next match, Tenosuke Takeshita defending the AEW International Championship against Ricochet. This was match of the night for me.
Oh yeah,
This was match of the night.
and
Ricochet.
the right kid died.
Hmm. I think this is more of like I could Ricochet's coming into form now on AEW. He's getting used to the longer matches. He's getting used to and you could see it.
You know who didn't have that period of
Mm,
adjustment? Shelton Benjamin. He
mm.
just immediately was like, "Yeah, 30-minute long matches, no problem.
I'm down.
I got it."
Yeah, like I mean, say what you will about Shelton Benjamin at
He's
his
been like
age.
one of the brightest spots of the last 2 months of AEW
Yeah,
TV.
and he's what? Can you believe Shelton Benjamin is 50?
I need
Hmm.
Benjamin versus Marufuji. Like I have to have that in a Noah ring at a Noah
Yes,
event.
that would be. Oh, that would be. Oh, with their conditioning, both of them, like both their conditioning is amazing. But moving on, the
Wait, I didn't
aforementioned.
finish talking about this fucking
Okay,
match.
let's talk about how great Takeshita is then.
He's really great. Okay, I'm done. He's he's
No, he
he's the
is.
best.
He's the best. He's the best spot in. I think he's the best in wrestling right now.
It's definitely a spot that like You spent the last 2 years just being like Will Ospreay, Will Ospreay, Will Ospreay, and it's like now there's someone better than Will Ospreay, and it's like
Yeah,
very shocking.
refreshing. Yeah,
That's nice.
it's nice. It's good. It's good to have multiple great talents on.
Yeah.
But Bobby Lashley against Swerve Strickland.
Um, Maybe the best Bobby Lashley match I've ever seen.
Better than that
Still
Brock
not,
Lesnar match.
still not like a super like
I've never, to be fair, I've never been a Bobby Lashley guy.
I don't think unless I'm gonna be honest, unless you're like a really, really, really diehard fan of the early TNA days, or you're a huge, like massive, I will do
WWE.
anything for WWE. I don't
Yeah.
think anybody really is a big Bobby Lashley fan. He's
Yeah.
good, he's
He's
fine.
serviceable. Like when you need a big man, he's better than Moose in terms of big men go.
Absolutely.
Like
He's
Moose is the most comparable I could see him to, and not just because they're black. Like
Yeah, that's probably why he thinks that. I'm gonna be
no.
honest.
But I mean,
Um,
it's like they have the same build. Like even like
it's a
you can't
Brock
put him
Lesnar. It's a Brock
like a
Lesnar.
Brock
He has
Lesnar
7 moves.
or like what was that guy Parker Boudreaux
Yeah, let me not like he's just a large man. It's that thing, right? It's the
or like a Joe Gacy or something.
I mean Joe Gacy's pretty shit.
Yeah, Eric
Bobby
Rowan,
Lashley's better than Joe Gacy. Apollo Crews.
Apollo Crews. Yeah,
Just a guy who doesn't have a very massive move set, but he can
he
pull off
uses
a
his
match with
yeah.
Goldberg.
Yeah, okay. You know what? That's a good comparison. Bobby Lashley and Goldberg.
But
Those
this
that's a
match was
very good.
like one of the better, probably the
Yeah,
best I've watched live Bobby Lashley matches.
yeah.
And
Still not that great.
but I didn't like the spot through the barricade. I'm like, we
That's
do
very
this,
WWE.
we do this. But I did like how wasn't the piece that random piece by the time counters table,
Hmm.
and like that could have hit the fans. That was a big piece of
Yeah,
barricade that
that
flew off.
was. But I mean, Swerve made this match though. His selling made this match.
Yeah, Swerve is a good wrestler, man.
Yeah,
Swerve
and
is a really
but
good wrestler.
unfortunately, was it with the Hurt Lock? He
You can't have Bobby Lashley lose.
not in his first match, no. Especially that they're trying to build him up as a monster.
And that's how I felt about with the Shelton match at the last pay-per-view, I think it was. Like, yeah, you should have had him also beat Swerve.
Yeah,
Or whenever it was. Was it on
it
Dynamite? I
was
don't
a
remember.
Dynamite. Yeah,
Just you should have had him beat Swerve too, even if it was through
yeah.
shenanigans. Like,
MVP interfering or something.
yeah, it's crazy to me that you had him lose because like it took immediately takes away from him, and it's not going to hurt Swerve to have to climb this
No.
uphill battle. Because then you
And
could have had Swerve versus Shelton at this pay-per-view, and then
hmm
finally had him beat him,
like the final boss at World's End or
and
something.
then you have things show up at the end of the match. And then
Yeah.
now at the next pay-per-view and then you have Swerve lose again. And then next year when it comes, there's a huge gap between Revolution, right?
Yeah, this Wrestle Dynasty in January and then
Which is an
Revolution.
AEW show. I mean, is a
Hmm.
New Japan show.
Yeah, it's a crossover show. So, yeah. Um, I mean, it was fine. He loses by they tried to attack Prince Nana at the end.
You can't do that. It's not nice.
No, it's not nice. He has his coffee to sell.
Exactly.
Yeah. He's got kids to feed.
A lot.
Like Benny from Total Recall.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Guy gets it.
Main event of the night, John Moxley defending the AEW World Championship with Roderick Strong's wife in his corner, Marina Shafir against Orange Cassidy.
I didn't like this match.
No,
I thought it was an odd bit of storytelling. I'm gonna be honest, I don't understand the
it's
use
basically
of Orange Cassidy.
Mox wants to get his win back against Orange Cassidy.
Yeah, and but I also just don't understand the storytellings from the start of this whole situation with Orange Cassidy being the catalyst on the good guy's side.
Yeah.
Why is it him? You know why? Because someone made a really good point to me because they're gonna
Hmm.
drag this out, and then guess who's gonna be the savior? Fucking Eddie Kingston when he comes back. He's gonna be the one who saves the day. I told you John Moxley was evil.
Kingston will be the catalyst in Adam Page winning the belt off of Mox at Revolution, I think.
I'm okay with that.
As long as Kingston doesn't get the belt, because I don't want to see Kingston as champion.
No, and I think I really, 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 really think that Adam Page needs to get the belt back.
Yeah.
and
I agree.
have that run go long. If anything, don't
Yeah.
even turn him face. Keep him heel this whole time, and then
Not
boom,
even
when
heel,
Kenny
just keep him a tween.
have Kenny come back, have Kenny win the belt off him at some point, and then have Kenny be a transitional champion to put someone over like Takeshita.
Yeah. I'd take that for sure in a heartbeat. But I mean, this match, like I've seen this too many times. Like Orange and Mox, how many times have we seen this in the last 24 months?
And I don't Orange Cassidy, as much as I like him in the ring, he's not a character that I care about at all.
No, at least not in the
So,
main event picture. If he's in the mid card, I'm
but I
happy
still
with that.
don't care about him. I'm never like, oh, look, I can't wait to see this storyline with Orange Cassidy.
Yeah. But
You
if
know
he's
what I
there,
mean?
he's there. Like,
I think there's better angles you could have took here with all the people you had. Like
mhm.
you could have had a redemption arc here for Trent Beretta after they injured after they went after Chuck.
Chucky
I mean,
T.
but he also did hurt him.
Yeah.
You could have had Chuck join the BCC and then
Yeah.
or not Chuck, Trent Beretta join,
Trent.
and then later down the line had this storyline happen with Orange Cassidy, and for now made someone else get this shit kicked out of them by
Yeah.
John Moxley.
What's do you think's going on with Wheeler Yuta? Because Wheeler Yuta is kind of like this in between stage right now.
I think it's all a ruse.
Okay.
It's just something to keep you guessing what's going to happen, but nothing's going to happen.
Okay. Well, we do get a lot of outside shenanigans. We got a lot of orange bleeding. Yeah. Then we get what? At the end of the match when Mox wins, we get Adam Page, right? Who else comes out? Christian Cage tries to cash in.
I'd like Christian Cage to win the title.
Yeah. Like just take it off of Mox. Keep the storyline with Mox and like what are they
Maybe this
called
is
now?
your angle. You keep, okay, this storyline's obviously going to go for a while.
Yeah.
You have like a big kerfuffle when Luchasaurus comes back, or if he comes back, I don't know what you do.
Yeah.
You break up the Christian Cage faction, you keep him as a heel. The bad guys are still winning, and then Edge comes back and he's like, "Listen, we got to do this. We got to do the right thing," and then turns him
Yeah.
face again, and then you get Edge and Christian, and that's.
Yeah. Too bad we didn't get to Edge and Christian versus the Hardys in AEW.
I
Because
mean, you
Edge
could
had
still
to.
do it somewhere else. You could do it in Japan.
You think TNA will let them do it?
I don't think TNA gives a shit. The only people selling tickets right now are the Hardy Boys.
Yeah, we'll talk about TNA. Wow. That was something. But I mean, all in all, this was, and then Jay White, he foils Christian Cage's cash-in attempt.
Good. I like Jay White.
Yeah. Keeps him in the main event picture too, I guess.
Yeah, you
Well,
could see what they're doing, right? They're
yeah.
trying to just keep you. They're trying to make sure you know who's in like the main event picture.
Yeah.
It's a really weird way of doing it, but it's kind of all right.
Yeah. So what'd you think of this show?
Um, Talking about it from A to Z made it feel better, to be honest.
Hmm.
But like the watching experience immediately, I was very underwhelmed. I was like,
Yeah.
okay,
And there's too long. They're just too long.
I don't even mind the length. I just think that you need to start having more,
Concise, more focused
yeah,
storytelling.
and more like maybe matches that we want to see. Like
Yeah.
even on the pre-show, stop just slapping together shit. Make it like
Yeah.
storylines that are happening.
And they've even reduced the number of matches on the pre-show.
Well, that they only did that because they wanted to, like, that guy to have all the remaining time.
Okay, but still, you had an hour and a half of pre-show.
Yeah, and 32 minutes of it was just that main event.
I'll
And
tell you
then
how much.
like 25 minutes of it was
11.
just talking. No, the main event whole thing was 32 minutes. The match was 11 minutes. The like
Oh, the spectacle
the like
around it.
lead up to it, the like the like pre-show leading into
Yeah,
that
yeah.
match, and then the like coming out in the ring, then the after the match, like going into the pay-per-view. And then they had three of the four entrants into the first tag team match were on
Yeah.
the pre-show, not on
Yeah. On
the
the main show.
pay-per-view.
Yeah. That's right. That's right. That's right. But to me, this was very mid. What would you rate this?
I would still give it like a over a 7.
Yeah. I'm
Probably
at a
like a 7.3.
that's exactly where I was. 7-3. 7-4 I
Like
actually
there
gave
are
it.
good
So
matches here. Like I'm not going to deny the Will Ospreay matchup against Kyle Fletcher is good and
yeah.
stuff like that, but it's like it they didn't feel like properly like played out. Like
They
I
didn't feel
needed,
special to me.
yeah, there you go. I think that's fair.
Yeah. No. Anyway. All right. So I gave it a 7-4. So with that out of the way, guys, thanks again for joining us. Tune in tomorrow. Tune in tomorrow. We're going to have a special guest on our show. We are doing WWE's Survivor Series War Games. Putty will be joining us for that. So make sure you tune in tomorrow for that. And then the day after that, we're going to do our review of TNA Turning Point. So we got the trifecta of wrestling for you coming up this week. So once again, with that out of the way, thanks again for joining us. And in the words of Kenny Omega, goodbye and good night.